Brazil polarized as Bolsonaro seeks re-election and Lula aims for comeback. Brazilians are heading to the polls on Sunday in an election which could see one of the world's most populous democracies switch from a far-right to a left-wing leader. Voting is compulsory for the more than 156 million Brazilians eligible. Incumbent Jair Bolsonaro is seeking a second term after 4 years in power but is being challenged by ex-President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. A result is expected within hours after polls close at 1700 hours, 2000 hours GMT. Polls apart, the campaign has been acrimonious and polarizing, with the two main candidates trading insults. During a televised debate on Thursday, President Bolsonaro called Lula, who served time in prison after being convicted on corruption charges, an ex-inmate and a traitor, while Lula labeled the president a liar. Lula was not able to run in the last election in 2018 because he was in jail and barred from standing for office. His Workers' Party colleague, Fernando Haddad, did not have the same name recognition and failed to inspire left-wing voters in the way Lula does. Amid widespread discontent with mainstream politics and anger at corruption scandals which had tainted the Workers' Party, far-right lawmaker and former army captain Jair Bolsonaro was swept into office. But with Lula's conviction annulled by the Supreme Court, the former president is very much back on the scene, and opinion polls give him a double-digit lead over Mr. Bolsonaro. There are 9 other candidates in the running, but polls suggest their support does not amount to more than 10%, leaving Lula and Mr. Bolsonaro to battle it out. Poverty on the rise. Growing levels of poverty, hunger is said to affect more than 33 million of Brazil's 214 million inhabitants, have boosted support for Lula, who during his previous presidencies lifted millions out of poverty through generous social programs. But the growth of evangelical churches has played into the hands of President Bolsonaro, who, while himself not evangelical, has, nonetheless, aligned himself closely with evangelical pastors. One of those supporting the incumbent is Jean Regina, vice president of the think tank Brazilian Institute of Law and Religion. According to him, religious leaders find that the president's rhetoric aligns with what they hold dear, which is the free exercise of their religion and many moral aspects of social life. He praises the president for exempting churches from lockdowns during the COVID pandemic and hopes that, if re-elected, the president will lift a ban on missionaries entering areas set aside for indigenous peoples.